Well, I was out here spraying a few weeds and stuff, and I got a perfect example here of water hemp slash palm amaranth. I'm not an expert on that, but I do know what these are. And this is it right there. These are, see how it's forming these nubs in there? What they're gonna do, what those do is they're gonna start kicking up different, there'll be like a tomato plant where they kick up different sides, and each one of those is going to create a little seed head on them. Of course, I got some cockleberry in here too and things like that, but I was actually surprised to find anything that mature right here. So I did spray those a little earlier. I really didn't want any of that to get this tall, but these kind of dodged my eye. But I wanted to show you what palm amaranth slash water hemp, and we could be looking at two different ones, you know. I mean, I'm not an expert on it, but if you have plants like that, it's in the pigweed family. Look, there's one. See, is it forking? Yes. See how it's like okra there, kicking these out? You know, if my spray, I'm using Liberty there, if my spray doesn't do it, I mean, I'm going to get in there and pull them. I can't afford to allow any of those to set again. That there was too, that was tough on us last year. I'm going to put it that way. Each plant having 250,000 seeds, well, I mean, I bet I had 250,000 plants here last year. It was that bad. And we pull a bunch, but they got it way ahead of us. So Liberty is supposed to work if the plant is young. So you gotta get on it early. And so now we have several years. I know once you're a water hemp farm, you're a water hemp farm. That being said, I can certainly reduce the population, making my hard work a lot easier. So now let's get on over here. Delia has already transplanted out here in the field the cantaloupe. We have one row totally done. I'm very excited about that. Get our cantaloupe going. I have sangria. I'm going to plant that, and I'm going to see how many more seeds we need, or seedlings we need, so we can have a good idea how much more we need to plant for the year. It's not a bad thing, but yeah. If we look out here, I have to move this a little bit. Let's drive over the top. Well, I'm okay right there. Yeah, we come over here and see how Delia has done. You can see, I can see the line. This is what Delia has been transplanting. You can see the older ones, and now you got the younger ones right there. She has just transplanted. She actually saw some aphids, but now all the cantaloupe and all this row is complete now. Really excited about having the cantaloupe. We still have, let me see how many more holes we have here. So we can actually hold 120 per row. It's a 240-foot row. If we go a plant every 2 foot, and of course if one dies, we're not worried about replacing it. There's you know, I know that's kind of questionable on the spacing, but I've talked to other producers and they seem to do very well at 2 foot spacing. So why are we going to try to change? We're going to You could go off what the book says, but you could also go off what some of the bigger operators in the area are actually doing. And maybe they put them every 2 foot to make up for plants that are not doing very well. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of the game. I don't know. So these guys are definitely looking a little rough here. They just got done spraying over here at the neighbors the other day, so hopefully none of this is a reflection of that. I hope so. I see it in the cantaloupe, not necessarily, I'm not necessarily looking over here at the sangria. There's a little curl right there. Well, I hope there ain't no issue here. That would be a bad thing, wouldn't it? All right, this is sangria, so I'm going to continue on planting sangria. All right, gonna go ahead and continue planting our sangria. We do have a rain coming. That's good. Oop. Gotta be careful here on these. These are a little bit younger plant, and they don't quite have the root that the others had. There we go. There we go. But I think they'll root better outside out here. They look pretty good. They have a nice root ball, but not totally impacted. There we go. I don't know how you could do a mechanical planter with these. You'd have to maybe let them get a little bit more mature like we had the other day. And I'm just really kind of squeezing in the ground around it instead of really doing much with the plant. Good afternoon to you out here. Got quite the rainy type of a day. Don't want to call it stormy, but here in the strawberries, and I just think they need to be weeded a little bit. I have a couple of holes here and there that the berries didn't do. I need to pull some runners. I'll come back and do that, but I am taking a runner right there and sticking it into one of our empty available holes. Let that runner eventually become a good strawberry. Fill those types of areas in. But for today, I figure just better go ahead, and I'm watering and need to do some weeding. So let's go ahead and get that done. So this is really our first year growing these. We planted these last fall, and we have a lot to learn. I have been adding some fertilizer to these, and we have been pulling runners off of them. I just, right today, I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure I get the weed, or kind of thin down some of the weeds out of these holes before they get too far ahead of us. Got a lot of those ragweed and cocklebur type plants, so any hole I'd like to get them cleaned up. And just staying active. I did go ahead and I produced a couple videos today, so that was good. And go ahead and get those runners. I don't need them. There's some good ones here. Delia may want to try to seed some of them runners. I don't know, so I'll talk to her. You know what surprised me in here was all of the spiders. If you have you guys noticed that with your strawberry beds, that you get a lot of spiders? Because we have a lot of them in here. I did not all kinds of things you don't really realize. And look at the size of that runner. Like I said, that runner there, let me go ahead and I'll just take this. Here, let me bring it around. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I have an available hole space there. And I have this runner. So let's go ahead and just kind of create a little bit of a divot there, kind of poke it in. And we'll just stick that little dirt around the top of it, and we'll let that sit right there. And that's kind of how and it'll root down right there given time. So we'll let the mother plant here, we'll let this mother plant turn right around and feed it while it's rooting. And I have another one. You can see this one's a little bit more mature, this root. See how it's wanting to send out some shoots down below, and it's got its own little crown right there. So I don't know what it was actually sitting into, but that one there is ready to go. So Delia, we'll probably take advantage and get a few free berries here or plants for this next year's planting, or this summer's planting. We ordered 3,000 bare root plants, and we'll get those in July. Now, because we're planting them in July and the heat being what it is, we have to get a little bit more white plastic, because this black plastic is just going to cook them at that time of year. No reason to cook our plants. There's more. There we go. Just quite a bit of, just got to keep these weeds under control so before it gets too far. That and our runners, like I said, we gotta get a game plan there on them. Well, I'm back to getting some rain again, but I got 2 of the 4 beds all cleaned out, looking a lot better. I think, again, I'm a new person at this. I'll say, I think it pays to go through your bed and go underneath your plastic, even early season, verify nothing's wanting to grow underneath. That kind of surprised me. There was quite a few things underneath. Found not a lot, but I mean, there was some strawberries that the way the plant grew in the hole, things along that line. So just stuff happens, as they say. So anyway, I think it paid to make sure you go through the holes even if not much is going on. And get that, let me shut this water off. And just make sure everything is in good working order and all of your plant is above. Had a few real weak plants kind of come out, and through no effort on my part, they literally just were not in very good. I got to get around this corner here the way the rain's coming down, just to get myself as I was just, you know, normally handling the strawberries, and to my surprise, you know, it came out. Well, now's a good time as any for if they want to come out. I mean, I know we're supposed to be harvesting some berries, but honestly, I can take a runner now and stick it in that hole for a subpar type of a plant. So finally getting a little rain here. I'm happy about that. So we need to get to a 1/2 inch at least. And up into this point, we hadn't been getting hardly anything. So I know on up there, look at this, it's still dry. Right here, it says we got 2 tenths, but it's been pretty meager. So, and here in the high tunnel, I went ahead and did string up, added some more strings here on 4 of the rows. Might go ahead here and put some more on these particular rows, especially those 2 right there. Get some of that done. So why don't I go and get doing that? Good rainy day project. To do a weed, if I'm a gardener and just having a few tomato plants here and there, it's awfully hard to beat determinate tomato in the terms of ease of handling and that type of thing. You need just, for every 4 plants or 5, you need at least 2 posts, you know, and that type of thing. What I'm doing is I like going up about every 4 inches. Don't crowd them too much, 3 inches between them. And I don't really do the Florida weave. I just go on one side and bring my string and go around the post and go to the next one, and I continue to maintain my distance as best I can. It's simple to do, and it's endless. The only thing that's going to stop you on this is the height of your post. So, but determinate tomatoes to me are easier to handle than the indeterminate tomatoes. Indeterminates just continue growing, and what happens? You have a basket that's 4 foot tall, 5 foot tall, and the plant continues to grow over. The other side about indeterminate tomatoes is, you know, to get really nice big tomatoes, a lot of times you want to go and pinch off the suckers, whereas with determinates, you don't have to do that. It's kind of maintenance free to some degree, other than once a week to once every 2 weeks you need to get in here and string it up a little more. So let's go ahead and do this particular row. It's an easy one, so it's not real hard. So let's get into this one. So to do our tomato, I'm just going to come around here with my tomato twine. You can use any twine you want. But you come around your post, and then basically I just go on down here to the next post. It show you how fast this is. And again, you go around your post, tighten everything up. Try to make sure everything's even. I need to lower that down a little bit and go on around. Now, as I come back, you're just trying to maintain tension onto your plant or onto your string. It's not hard at all. There's really nothing fancy about it. I suggest a 6-foot post for determinates. 6.5 is probably even better, but you don't need that. And you can go with this, look how I'm just kind of going low. I'm gonna change this, just to make sure you guys see that. I go low, and I gotta bring it back. And when you get a lot of foliage, I need to tighten that up, there we go. When you get a lot of foliage, you're gonna have some leaves that get stuck in between your limbs, but in between the posts, that's okay. There's a lot of leaves on the tomato plant. And again, I go out and come back in. And I'm just using a 3/4 inch, 1 inch PVC pipe to act as my extension arm. We'll come all the way down here. And we're gonna finish it off by tying it off. I'll cut it and tie it. That's about as easy of a way to manage our tomato plants as you can get. This process is not just for the commercial gardener, but it's just as equally as effective for homeowners and home gardeners. It's what I've been doing for better part of 10, 15 years now. And it's my favorite way to string up tomatoes.